Hello, welcome to Manipulated Mind, number 17. So all day long, you might not get to the book today, who knows? But all day long I've been thinking over two things that fold into the story that I told you earlier from my childhood. Let's see if I can recover it in the right order. I told you about my mom thinking that my wanting to do skits as a waste of her time impacted me, obviously. I think a psychiatrist might call that it was a core kind of wound, because she hurt me where I enjoyed expressing myself. And you've probably been through worse abuse than me, obviously. I mean, or not obviously, but most likely. I mean, there's this thing where somebody has their pain and they feel they're hurt, but they feel guilty because they hurt, because somebody else has had more pain and more hurt. So to level this out, is the struggle different? Or maybe the times that I remember are when it hurt the most, over a barrage of things that I've forgotten. So I would say that these particular moments that I'm about to express are a core belief building time for me, or should I say a core belief destroying and building up in her great image, but it was a core. So let me backtrack on my mother's reaction. Not backtrack, but back up to my mother's reaction, that I always wasted her time, and she threw up her hands and she went back in the house and made me feel kind of all stuck in the middle of I Suckville. That harkened back to something else that had occurred between my mother and I when I was around 6. And it became a core hurt to me, but it was a little different. It was like this. I had a chalkboard. My mom had bought me new chalk. She brought me colored chalks too. So I had white chalks and colored chalks, and I was drawing pictures. And I drew a picture of my mother. And I was proud of it. And I went to show her, and I was excited. Ooh, I drew you. I was so proud of it. Okay? But I had no awareness of that things could hurt people. And my mom, she must have been about 26, 27, and she had just recently been diagnosed with a Berger's disease. It's a blood clotting disorder, and her legs were always very, very pink, purple, very, very blood clots and whatnot. So she had just gotten this diagnosis not much longer, not much before, I'm sure. And she was very self-conscious of the way she looked. And she was a narcissist, boo. I mean, straight up textbook. Okay? So I wounded her, you see. How did I wound her? The picture I was so proud of. And I was so proud of all the detail I was able to remember and put into. I I did a real good job. I even said so. Look, Mom, I drew you when I got your hair, your glasses, even the purple legs. But I delivered it with enthusiasm. Even the purple legs made my mommy cry. I didn't know. I learned that very day. When she walked out of the room, and she was sad and hurt, and she went downstairs, and she was vacuuming rough. Who knows what she was going through, or how much she was hating me. And when I saw her face hurt, vacuuming, then I put it together. That's something insensitive. I'm sorry, this wasn't supposed to make me cry. It was supposed to be a very well-told story. But it hurts me. They hurt her. And hell knows, all throughout my life, every time she was upset, I wished I could say, do, behave, be just the right way to understand her and to take some of the pain from her so she wouldn't be so bad. Obviously, I haven't dealt with all of this. I can't afford a psychotherapist, and I don't like electric shocks. Alright. Pain. That also wraps into another core incident. It had to be around 6 as well. It was 2nd or 3rd grade. I think it was 2nd grade. It wasn't very much longer after, as we had already moved to this other place when it happened. So here's what happened. My class was having a school-wide assembly, a show, and every single class got to had a routine. You know, some people were jumping ropes or did a parachute routine or xylophones or whatnot. And ours was, we had 2 sticks and we were tap tappity flip, tap tappity flip, that kind of bull, right? That kind of thing. And we practiced it, and it was great, and I enjoyed it because I felt, well, I was on time with it. I had the routine down. I felt the cohesion of the group doing it in practice, and I felt confident because I knew we had this thing, we got this. I was up. I was right, you know? And so, not that I have a direct memory, but it is a memory I could piece together, such as this. I must have told my mother that the show starts at 7, but we have to be there. I have to be there at 6:45 or 6:30 or, you know, or whatnot, standard procedure. But I have to be there 15 minutes early. But that's not what happened. We got there in a rush. I was late. My class was about to go on. That's how late it was. It was so late that I scrambled into the room as they were lining up the kids to go on, and I didn't even have time to take my coat off. But I ignored that, and I did my routine, and it was still perfect. It was so spot on. I was proud of myself. Guess what? Well, my mom was upset that I was so stupid that I couldn't even take off my coat. So there was another time where performance, artistry, believing in myself, and wanting to entertain was wounded. Hence my great aversion therapy of doing this YouTube stuff. But let me tell you a happy memory. I think this happened. My sister had been born, so I must have been around 8, 9. Must have been the same-ish year as the school incident, because we had already moved. I don't believe I remember a baby being involved during the school incident, but a baby was involved later on when I made myself a good memory. And this wonderful happy memory, between 10 and 11, 9, 10, 11 age frame, I was a little entrepreneur. And I would go, and I had to be 10 because Naval Housing wouldn't let somebody sign out yard equipment unless they were 10. Okay, so I must have been 10 when I was making money, because I would rent out the rake and the hedge clippers, and I would go door to door and ask if I could trim those hedges. And it had a little system. I'd look at your yard, I'd look at the height of the hedges, how many hedges. It was approximately 25 cents per bush, 50 cents if they were tall. And I'd case your yard for, and this is a good $5 yard. This was like 1983, something like that, This is a good $5 yard. And I'd knock up and I'd ask them, hey, can I do this work for you for $5? Well, a lot of them were just all, oh, how cute, a little girl's trying to do some entrepreneur business. Cool. And I got hired. Now, I've always been a bit of a perfectionist, so I would trim the hedges, make them pretty, clean up after myself, which always impressed the older folks, and get my money, often with tips, and go on my way. Well, I usually went and bought candy with it, but I decided to do something different. I felt proud of myself. I just felt proud of myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting older, I said to myself. And today, instead of taking my money and getting candy, I'm going to take myself to the restaurant all by myself. And I went to the restaurant, and I sat down, and I had a menu out, and I looked at everything, and I counted my money, and I was like, I could get this and this, which was French fries and a cup of hot chocolate. It was my favorite memory. And a cup of hot chocolate. I felt so grown up. It's a very happy memory, and nobody ruined it for me at all. In fact, I'm crying because when I wanted to pay my bill like a big grown-up could, turns out one of the other tables picked up my tab. And it passed me due. I guess on my way home I was thinking, wow, somebody paid for me, must be because I was well behaved or something. Well, anyway, I took my money to the store, bought candy. So, maybe why I've come to learn that I can give myself solace and comfort. And I can make myself proud of me and it felt good. So that's one of the things I want my kids to learn is how the effort you put into something, and the value that you get out of it, like what you work for. Okay. Guess I just needed to get that off. I tried to write these stories down in my memoirs, but maybe they don't hit the same or heal the same. Maybe not. I busted a pipe in my house. I was rummaging under my sink. Oh my god, you're not supposed to do that in public on goddamn YouTube. That's fucking rude. Oh my god. I'm going to read at least half a page so that we can justify the fact that this stays in the playlist of the book. Alright. Erickson's stage theory provides an interesting account of how and when insecurity may establish itself. The insecure person, because he doesn't trust his own judgment, may go overboard in trusting that of others. Because he is always questioning his own worth, he is unlikely to feel confident about making independent decisions. Highly insecure people are perhaps most vulnerable to wholehearted acceptance they find within cults, because their insecurity makes them distrust love on any lesser scale. An insecure woman says, "He couldn't possibly love me because I'm so worthless," and will unconsciously require over-strong proof to convince her otherwise. Her demands are therefore remarkably high instead of low. Her conviction of her own worthlessness does not make her grateful for any crumbs of affection she may receive, but makes her satisfied with nothing less than the whole cake, as proof of devotion. So if her lover doesn't bring her a ring 4 times a day, or doesn't call her 4 times a day, it's obvious he doesn't love her. He fails the test. Okay, back off and shut up, because you're treading on my grave. I cut shrapnel! You're treading on my fucking grave here. Yes, I'm an insecure woman. And yes, this person has made very good observations, Mr. Erickson. I don't intend to make fun of you, but let's talk about something here. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I had no digs at you, Mr. Erickson. Why don't I make YouTubes? Because I feel unlovable. So what am I doing? Reality testing, more or less. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm now secure. I am now happy. But how do I act if somebody tries to get intimate with me? Not secure, not happy, not contained. Did I ever tell you that I need a psychotherapist? Anybody would like to do pro bono work? You can write a book with me, man. I'll make you famous. Anyway, this has been a overly confident video. Alright. Within a cult, love is offered 24 hours a day. Everyone is accepted as part of the family, and reinforcement of that acceptance is constant. The insecure person needs to please because he wants to be liked. Having no sure conception of his own identity, he is dependent on others to shape it for him. He can form his own opinion of himself from what others hold of him. He can form his own opinion of himself from that others hold of him. He may therefore put himself out to please others in ways that he doesn't really want because he fears losing their good opinion. This is true, and it's very unfortunate, isn't it? Parental power is now accepted as enormously influential in establishing a child's identity. When a child is very young, the world is peopled only by his immediate family, and he learns to obey them because he has no other reference points. Because he wants affection and security, he is dependent on them, and works to maintain their approval. In his search for models for himself, he imitates them. Not only are his actions conditioned, the stove burns so he doesn't touch it again, but also his emotions. He may learn to fear being around anyone who is drunk because his father used to get drunk and to beat him and his mother. He may learn to suppress anger or feel guilt or avoid close contact, the influencing effects of which will be discussed. That's cool. Are we at the 20? Okay, we're at the 20, so we'll discuss what Eric has shown next time round. Thank you for listening. Be blessed.